Welcome back into my channel today, and welcome to Northeast Kansas gravel roads. So in this video, we're going to be talking about tire pressures, specifically gravel tire pressures. So many people out there, including myself, use those online calculators to get you in the ballpark of where you might want to be for starting tire pressure. But the question is, with so many different variables in gravel itself, how accurate can those really be? So in this video, we're going to be taking my trusty air pump and we're going to look at those calculated values that Zipp says I should be running with this tire and this wheel combination on this type of gravel. And we're going to do 3 different runs. We're going to do one run exactly where the calculator says that I should have those values. On another run, we are going to drop that value by 10 psi front and rear, and then on the third run we're going to increase that value by 10 psi. Much closer than that, and we probably wouldn't be able to tell a difference. However, with a large jump like that of a 30% or so on that differential, we should be able to see if the lower tire pressure is faster or the higher tire pressure is faster, or if that calculated value is actually the highest speed of them all. And it is very possible that in this experiment the values are just so close that we can't really tell a difference because it's all within the margin of error. But never know until we give it a shot. So as anyone who has ridden any gravel would know, there are no 2 gravel roads that are exactly the same, and even in one stretch of gravel road you can have a variety of different surface types and different depth of gravel, whether it's fresh, whether it's hard packed. So I'm going to go ahead and overlay some videos of what the surface that I'm working with looks like to give you an adequate comparison for your own results. So the route that I'm choosing for this test is a 3.2 mile, about 5 kilometers, a little over, out and back route with about 0.8 of a mile of road, followed by the rest gravel, with quite a few rolling hills and some smooth and some chunky gravel involved. So it should be a good test to really show what the impact of tire pressure would be on performance. So, as with any measured test, I try to keep things as consistent as possible in between runs to make the tire pressure change the only variable that we have. So I'll be riding on the hoods, arms locked, not getting into any tucked positions, not going to change any positions. Going to try to make the lines as consistent as possible, because as you could see from the video, being in one tire track as opposed to in the middle could really throw off the results. So I'm going to try to be as consistent as possible run to run, and we're going to do these back to back to back, averaging approximately 200 watts for each run, just to make this a good repeatable test for the majority of individuals out there. So with all that explanation out of the way, all we have left to do is to go ahead, figure out what Zipp thinks the tire pressure should be, inflate to that pressure, go ahead and get our baseline run, start adjusting from there, and just go back to back to back. So in order for this calculator to be the most accurate it can be, I have to get both my weight and the bike's weight fully laden as I'm going to be riding out on the road. So we're going to go ahead, step on the scale right now, and please don't judge. It's been after lunch. Alright, so on the Zipp website here, gotta go in, put it in imperial units because that's just how I roll. And for the rider weight, of course you want to make this as close to accurate as possible, which I did just go stand on the scale. So I'm going to go ahead and put my weight of 172.6 in there. Ride style gravel, bike weight, 20 pounds, 2 ounces is what it came in at. 20.2 really isn't correct, so we'll just go ahead and round down to 20 pounds. Wheel diameter 700C, front tire labeled width 40 millimeter, rear tire labeled width 40 millimeter, inner rim width with these Zipp wheels 23 millimeters. Tire casing, I never really know what to put, so for gravel tires I just put reinforced. Rim type hookless. Surface, of course, dry. Go ahead and hit calculate. And it's giving me an error because I can't put a point in my weight, so we'll go ahead and just make that 173, kind of offsets for the 2 ounces anyway. That puts 32.7 psi front tire, 34.8 psi. I have no chance of getting that accurate on my scale, so I'll just do 33 and 35. I generally do a 2 pound. Alright, so that first ride, what can I say? It felt normal, just because that's the pressures I normally run, so it felt absolutely standard to me. Go ahead, get the lower tire pressure in. So now with the second ride done, the super low tire pressure run, man, did that feel good. Super squishy tires, real comfortable, but I'm not going to look at the results till I'm done with all three, so I can't really say for sure if it was any faster or if it was slower. Felt a little sluggish just because of the squishiness in the tires, but that doesn't always mean that it's actually slower. So we'll go ahead, pump these things up to 43 in the front and 45 in the rear for the high pressure test and give that one a go. I can tell you I'm not looking forward to that because I know that it's going to rattle my teeth apart. All right, so 3 runs, final run is done. That one, have to admit, not my favorite, just because high tire pressure on gravel just rattles you to bits, but all of them are done. I'm not going to even delve into the question of even if the high tire pressure run was fastest, would the fatigue make it slower overall in a long race? Probably so, but that is way outside of my scope to test. So we're just going to look at the raw numbers. I'm going to go ahead, get out of the kit, and meet you back with the results. So back now after all 3 runs are completed, had a chance to upload all of them into Strava and go through the numbers, and let me just tell you, the results were not what I was expecting. So run number 1, Remember, these were the tire pressures that were calculated by the Zipp tire pressure calculator. As close as I could get with the pump that I have. Again, could be a fluctuation in there one way or the other, but right in the ballpark. So, run number 1, time of 10 minutes and 58 seconds at a speed of 17.7 miles per hour, and I'll go ahead and put the kilometers per hour on there as well. The average power I was shooting for 200 was 199 watts. Normalized power, 206 watts. I always try to include normalized power in there just because how I deliver the power could impact the results, so I want to have that as consistent as possible between the two runs. Run number 2. Remember, this was the squishy tires, the 23 and 25 PSI tires. I can tell you, personally, this was the most comfortable setup running on the gravel roads as far as being smooth and allowing me to feel less fatigued over the course of the run. It came in faster than that at 10 minutes and 51 seconds at a speed of 17.9 miles an hour. Average power 200 watts, normalized power 209 watts. Okay, so a little bit higher on that one. Finally, the highest tire pressure, 43 and 45. This one was the least comfortable. I wouldn't have wanted to ride at those pressures for any significant amount of time just because I would have been worn out from being beaten to death from the harshness and the vibration of the roads. But surprisingly enough, it did come in the fastest overall at 10 minutes and 46 seconds with a speed of 18 miles an hour. Power average 199 watts, same as run number 1, at a normalized power of 204 watts, so actually the lowest normalized power overall. So what does this all mean? And truthfully, I don't know. I was really shocked to see that both the lower value, significantly lower, and the significantly higher value came in faster than what the Zipp calculator recommended for me. I don't know what would account for that. However, what I do know is that these are all really close together. Sure, there's a little bit of difference in time and speed between the fastest and the slowest, but realistically, these are all well within the margin of error. So I think the final result that I'm personally going to take away from this test is that maybe I don't need to stress quite so much about having my tire pressures exact and just having them within a good ballpark, and more importantly, one that makes it more comfortable for me to ride for longer distances without being fatigued is going to be of benefit overall. So thank you once again, everyone, for tuning in. I truly appreciate everybody watching the videos, commenting, and of course, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel. It really makes it a lot more motivating to produce these kind of videos. They do take a lot of time, and I really hope that I can help all of you in some way, shape, or form by doing these tests. If you did find this video useful or interesting, go ahead, hit that super thanks button down there. It really helps me out as a small channel on YouTube here. And I also do put affiliate links for all the products that I use. So if you're planning on purchasing anything that I use and you see on my channel, go ahead and use those links down there. Again, it really does help the channel and really motivates me to continue making content like this for everyone. So, with all of that said, I hope it was useful, and until next time, enjoy your ride.